Namaste and very warm welcome to everyone joining today on September Prahlad Yonjan Conservation Forum Talk Program. My name is Garima Sharma and I am newly appointed EGS Coordinator at Resources Himalaya Foundation. This talk is being organized by environmental graduates in Himalaya and Resources Himalaya Foundation. PYCF is a monthly program organized by EGH and RSF. So joining today as our guest speaker, we have Dr. Anup Kesi, who is Assistant Professor of Environmental Science at Amrit Science Campus, Tribhuvan University. He completed his PhD in Parks, Recreation and Tourism Management from Clemson University, USA. He has over 12 years of research experience in climate change, ecotourism, and community forestry management. He has published more than 3 dozens of research articles and books, including some book chapters in his expertise. Today, he will present on topic ecotourism and sustainability in Nepal. We are very glad to hear from you, Dr. Kesi. And before moving on, I would like to request everybody to please keep your microphone and video off during the presentation. And after the presentation, we will be having a 15-minute discussion. So if you have any questions, you can drop it in chat or ask yourself by raising hand during the discussion section. Now, without further delay, I would like to hand over this platform to Dr. Kesi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Garima ji, for the nice introduction. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So if you have any questions, you can drop it in chat or ask yourself by raising your hand. Now, without further delay, I would like to hand over this. Sorry. Over to you, sir.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone today in this Prahlad Yonjan conservation related discussion today. And today I am going to focus more on ecotourism in Nepal and how is the sustainability of this ecotourism. Basically, I will discuss the context of Nepal and my research work that is done in different national park, conservation area, and other ecotourism destination. Moving on to the next slide, and this is the basic outline. And considering ecotourism, today I will be focusing more on community-based homestay, and I will consider community-based homestay as one of the ecotourism in Nepal. Yeah, there are many, there are different types of ecotourism being operated in our country, and among them, I started considering, or many researchers or worldwide, it is being considered that community-based homestay are following the concept of ecotourism. So my presentation or the discussion today will be more focused on actually community-based homestay of Nepal. And the basic outline for today's presentation is I'll discuss the basic background. I will also deal with the different forms of community-based homestay that is being run in our country, the opportunities of homestay in Nepal and why it is important, and also what are the different features inside this community homestay feature. And also we will discuss about the challenges that people are facing or challenges we are being seeing in these homestay in the recent time after COVID or before COVID. I hope many of you might be familiar with homestay in Nepal because homestay has become such a attraction source in Nepal that Nepali people, even the international tourists also, they love to be there. They like to enjoy the culture and nature behind there. And in the context of Nepal, people usually go to homestay to enjoy a lot, to eat the local food, to taste the local food, to enjoy the local culture, to observe and interact with the local indigenous people. So homestay is being popular, and especially community homestay, they are running with the norms of homestay, taking care of accommodation as well as taking care of food and other hospitality. And yeah, as we are all from Nepal, I don't need to discuss about Nepal, but I want to highlight why tourism or why community-based homestay is important in Nepal. Yeah, being a country of around 147,181, it might increase a bit, but I have not changed that bit, changed that area, because it is not a formal one. So about the attraction, there are 8 mountains in Nepal which are greater than 8,000 meters. So tourists, international tourists, or the tourists loving the mountaineering, those who love to hike, those who like to trek, they like a lot to come to our country. And the basic thing, or the main feature that makes our country so diverse in tourism, is that it ranges from 60 meter above sea level to 8,848 plus something meter. It means in such a high altitudinal range, we have a very small width of around 200 kilometer, and we have a length of around 800 kilometer. It means in such a length and such a width, having an elevation of 60 to 8,848 meter sea level in 200 kilometer width is making our country very rich in cultural and natural resources. Basically, cultural, with the increase in elevation, with the increase in or with new hills or new mountains being seen in the country, it means we can see different communities or different indigenous people living over there, and they have their own culture. Every indigenous population or every indigenous communities, they have their own culture. Some of them may have their own languages. Also, they have their own form of tradition they are been following. That is the cultural part and the social part. Beside the cultural and social part, there are a lot of diverse flora and fauna. We can see high elevational range is helping to produce or is giving us a rich flora and fauna which can be seen throughout the country. So high elevation range is one of the important things that is giving us our country more tourism attraction and making our country rich in tourism in the global scenario. So Nepal is popular in tourism, especially trekking, mountaineering, heritage tourism, or some people may also love community-based tourism. And the basic thing behind the more attraction is that it must change or variation in topography, and due to the change in biodiversity, range of biodiversity, or flora and fauna, they have the very high diversity in different part of the country, and researcher, they come to observe or they come to research those flora and fauna. As a tourist or as a visitor, some people like to enjoy that flora as well as they like to see those fauna. Either it might be higher level carnivore like tiger, or some mammals like elephant or one-horned rhino, or it might be a different mox deer or deer in different part of the country. So these features are giving us a rich tourism attraction, either in the form of biodiversity, flora and fauna, or in the form of rich culture and tradition. So our country is rich in tourism resources. And talking about the homestay, I think most of you might be familiar with the homestay. These are the lodging facilities. These are the lodging or the accommodation provided by a house or a local people in the local area, in which guests come there, stay a night or stay a few nights, and they enjoy the local culture, they enjoy the local organic food, they taste or they enjoy the local costume, It means if the indigenous people have their own costume, they also wear those costume. They take photograph with that. They want to take photographs and show that in social media. And in some cases, they are making homestay popular in social media. So especially Nepali people, they go there, enjoy the food and the culture. And homestay and community-based homestay, it means community-based homestay are a type of homestay in which a whole community, they manage the homestay. It means at least in the guideline of our country, there should be more than 5 households involved in homestay to make a community-based homestay. If 5 or more houses are there, they can accommodate guests. It means they do in a community way, or they do in a combined collaborative way. It means there is a separate committee formed in the community-based homestay. There is a president, there is a secretary. It means there might be a staff or a manager who could manage those guests. It means they do the entry of the guests together. They share those guests equally among the participating homestay, and they collect the revenue, or they collect the cost, or they collect the amount that is spent by the guests together in the office. And later, after some time, or after a month or a year, or after certain duration, they share that economic benefit to the local communities or the people who are involved in homestay. So one individual homestay is not managing. It means whole community is managing those individual homestay. So there is equitable distribution of resources are there. And other than that, it means they do the cultural activities together. And most of the collaborative effort is seen in the community-based homestay. But the main important thing is that they are doing in such a cooperating way, collaboration way. They are participating every household who are eligible. In that way, whole community is managing the homestay. That's why it is taken as one of the important ecotourism concept or ecotourism destinations in the context of Nepal. And it is also popular not only in Nepal but also in different part of it might be in African continent, it might be in South America, or in the Thailand, or in the Malaysian region, in India, in some part of India. This sort of community-based homestays are popular. And the important thing about community-based homestay is that, especially community-based homestay are seen near the protected areas, either inside the conservation area or near the buffer zone of other protected area, national park or other region. It means why this community-based homestay is being prioritized is that it means if alternative livelihood option is given from tourism, those communities will are thinking toward conservation because they are getting some alternative livelihood option from tourism. It means if they are getting money from tourism, they will depend less on the forest and the biodiversity that they might be doing from the historical past. So alternative livelihood option is provided by community-based homestay, and many donor agencies, even the government of Nepal, it is prioritizing community-based homestays so that people will be motivated toward conservation because they are getting some alternative form of livelihood from this community-based homestay. And if they could get alternative livelihood option, I have already given example that their dependence toward the forest, their dependence toward the wildlife, and their dependence toward the agriculture will obviously decrease. And if they are earning money, they will be happy and they will be motivated to run those activities near the conservation area or the protected areas. And in the context of Nepal, now there are many homestays. This is old data that is in 2021 or 22. I have not received any new data, but there are more than 1,000 homestays. There are private as well as community-based homestay, but there are more community homestay, more than 600, 650 homestays are community-based homestays. The difference between community-based homestay and private homestay is that community homestay, they run as a community, whole community manage those homestay. While in the case of private homestay, each and every household can be a private homestay. They have to follow the norms of homestay, but they can run privately, they can run in their own, they can run individually. They don't need to run as a community in that case. So there is a bit of difference. So one homestay, one household can form one private homestay, but to become a community homestay, there should be at least 5 or more household to be involved in community homestay. Yeah, I have been discussing about the context of homestay. It is helping in economic development because it is providing option. It means tourists spend money to stay a night, to enjoy the local food, to enjoy the local culture, as an entry fee in the museum. So they spend, and they may provide fee for hiking or the nature guides, or also they might be enjoying, in the case of wildlife based community based homestay, they might be going for animal safari or the jungle safari. In that way, local people are getting economic benefit. So it helps in the rural economic development and livelihood enhancement in the local area. And many provinces of our country now, they are prioritizing homestays. And why they are prioritizing homestays? That it means if they prioritize homestay, every village or rural area, especially homestay or community-based homestay, are usually seen in the rural area, but there might be some exception that they might be in the city area as well as a private homestay. But mostly they are in rural area. I mean, it will help in the rural economy, rural economic development, rural revenue generation, rural livelihood enhancement. So homestay are being prioritized in almost all different provinces, except in the province number 2, we have seen very less homestay running. Yeah, there might be different context, but all other provinces, they are now prioritizing homestay for the rural development. And I have already given the context of domestic tourists. It means you know that the international tourists are brought to the homestay if they have network with the travel agent. If travel agent have contact with the homestay, they can provide their. Otherwise, travel agent also, they might have their own intention, they might have their own benefits. If they get some benefit, or if they are connected with the homestay, in that context they take to the homestay. Otherwise, if travel agent are bringing the international tourists, in that case, all the tourists doesn't goes to homestay. All the tourists may like the homestay, but they are not taken in that area. So those travel agents who know the importance of homestay, those travel agents who prioritize homestay or have a network of homestay, they take those international guests to the homestay. That's why till now, if we see the context of Nepal, 70 to 80% or 70 to 90% guests are the Nepali guests in homestay. Almost in all popular homestays of Nepal, either it may be Khalegaon, either it may be Dalla homestay, either it may be Sirubari homestay, or either it may be other different homestay in the country. They are being visited, or they are being taken, they are enjoyed by domestic tourists. And the main reason behind traveling of the domestic tourists is the diverse nature and culture. Being a Nepali, living in Kathmandu Valley or living in Pokhara Valley, in weekend, what we like to do is we want to go to the homestay, enjoy the local food, enjoy the local culture. In some contests, Nepali guests, they are also not following basic norms and rule in the homestay. If they go in the homestay, they start taking like, I'm here to cut म भाले खाना आएको, I'm here to drink alcohol. So म यहाँ homestay आएपछि I have to drink a lot of alcohol. I have to drink alcohol whole night. I have to enjoy the local meat whole night. Some Nepali people have that concept, but actually, according to the norms of community-based homestay, that is not being allowed. So this is being observed in different homestay, because some Nepali guests, they are not conscious about the basic norms and rules of the homestay. Now, due to the same problem nowadays, Gandruk, previously taken considered as a homestay, now it is not considered as a homestay. Even Chitlang, which is very near to Kathmandu Valley, previously we used to tell there is a homestay. Now we don't consider that as a homestay because they are not following the basic norms of homestay. Basic norms of homestay mean they have to follow the local culture, they have to follow the local costume, they can't disturb the local neighbors, they can't disturb the whole night, they are not allowed to provide whatever tourists demand the food or other recreational facilities. If all those facilities are provided, or if those basic things are not followed, they are not considered following the basic norms of homestay. And there are there are different form of homestay being observed in Nepal. Now, some homestay, and they do own farming. What they do is they make 1 or 2 tunnel or 3 or 4 tunnel, and they grow vegetable there. Some they might have their fruit garden. From the vegetable garden, they take that, or they use that vegetable from the own farm. They provide the local, authentic, or organic taste of the food to the guest. And other than that, if they have extra food, or if they have extra vegetable, if they have extra fruit, even guests can take that as a souvenir. They can carry in their home. They can distribute to their friends, or they can even recommend their friends to come there and enjoy those local food. So farm stay is also promoted in some part. Another one is, in some homestay, yoga is promoted. It means some homestay, they prioritize different upasanas, different yogas, or some they bring different gurus in their homestay, and those gurus, they teach different type of yogas, and some people go there to those yoga loving people go there and perform yoga. So some homestay are prioritizing that. And in many homestays in the near the protected area or near the national park, wildlife based tourism homestay are there. Yeah, there is a community based homestay, but they prioritize wildlife based tourism. It means they do jungle safari, and they do elephant safari, they do nature hike in the forest, especially near the Chitwan National Park, Bardia National Park, nearby Ochitapu, or nearby Suklamata. It means this sort of homestay are there who prioritize wildlife-based tourism. Tourists go there to observe the wildlife. Tourists go in Chitwan to see the one-horned rhino. They want to do elephant safari. Sometime during elephant safari, or from the tree house. There are also tree house as well in some part of Bardia or Ibake, or in the case of Chitwan. And what they can do is they can observe the tiger and other higher level carnivore also in that area. And some homestay, they just run as a traditional homestay. They provide local food, and they show the local culture, and they make tourists enjoy. Sirubari homestay is just a traditional homestay. Ghalega homestay is just a traditional homestay. It means what they do is they welcome the guest. They provide benefit in the form of food. They show the local culture. They show the dance and music, and they do welcoming and farewell events. And these things are enjoyed by guests, because Ghalegaon, Sirubari, they are the oldest homestay being considered in Nepal. So they provide such traditional facilities like culture, food, nature hike. These things are being promoted there beside yoga in other part of the country. And mostly homestay, what they do is they try to connect the culture and the religion, and they connect the nature aspect in their homestay. Some homestay, they are taken as a learning center. In many homestay, we used to, as a researcher, as a teacher, as a student, we go there, observe the local culture. And in also many homestay, cooperative, those people who are involved in cooperative, they go there, they learn how those cooperative or how collaborative activities are being performed in the homestay. So collaborative work to see how homestays are managed, how tourism activities are run. Many organizations, local organization and cooperative, they visit homestay, or they do organizational visit to the homestay beside school, college, or individual guest. And there are a lot of attraction in homestays now. And the most important thing is that in homestay nowadays, and they prioritize local product, and they prioritize local resources. And according to some of the homestay stakeholder, what they say is that we prioritize around 80% of local product. Yeah, everything we can't get in the local area. Some part we have to depend upon the nearby market, but must around 80% of their local product is being consumed in their homestay, according to the important homestay in Nepal. And the basic opportunities, or the basic thing provided in homestay is that organic food you can get there, fresh food we can get there. Homestay is providing employment opportunity. Yeah, one home is involved in homestay. It means if it is a homestay, individual home houses they run as a homestay or they run as a accommodation facility. The good thing is that either father, mother, or their children, they could be involved in welcoming guests. In that way, they can earn money, they can get employment opportunity. In many villages of our countries nowadays, homestay are considering agricultural product or one feature. At least one, if there is one feature or one agricultural product, then they could brand that. They could help in branding. They could help in marketing of that. That would really help them attract new guests in their homestay beside the regular guests who come there and enjoy. So one village, one agricultural product, and even those agricultural product or those the thing that is uh, produced over there that can be sold to the guest, or that can be taken by the guest as a souvenir, or it might be handicraft, it might be local product as a fruit, vegetable. If you go to Mustang, they could send you apple. If you go to Umla, they could send you apples. If you go to farm stay, they could send you some organic vegetable that is grown in their tunnel. So in that way, tourists also can take souvenir, and they could. It means in both way, homestays are getting benefit. They are getting income from tourism, from the guest, because they provide accommodation and food, and they show the culture. They are charging money for that. Besides that, they could also sell the extra product that is in their home or the community. It means the handicraft made in the community, the fruit grown in the community, the vegetable grown in the community, that could be sold to the local guest. And you might have heard about the economic benefit. It means cooperative are seen in cooperative, or sahakari is seen in many homestay villages. It means those homestay who save money, they deposit certain money every day or every week, every month, and they collect the saving. In the way, it means every houses, if they collect, or every homestay, if they start collecting regularly the money, that they can generate a good fund at the end, or after some time there will be a fund generated, and that fund could be used later by the same homestay stakeholder, in the form of homestay enhancement, in the form of facility enhancement, in the form of a new form of it means for animal keeping. It means for vegetable growing, or for other sort of commercial farming also. They can take that money and they can invest on either tourism facilities, or to enhance the agriculture or local economy. They can use that money generated or collected in the cooperative. And other than that, the important thing about homestay is that it helps to build capacity, and it helps to learn people the leadership skill. There are manager, there are president, they are secretary. I mean, they are managing the community homestay. I mean, they can learn leadership skill. They can understand management skill, because they are working collaboratively and doing those things together. The important thing about homestay is that if many homestay, they are running their homestay in their own house. They are not making any extra structure. Yeah, in some homestay, they might be building extra structure, but if they are running in their own houses, the investment cost to build the house will be minimized. There will be less investment cost per house and for other facilities. Yeah, basic things, bed and other the requirement of the guests should be fulfilled. But if they are running in their house, their operating cost and the investment cost is low. Because operating cost, why it will be low? Because every houses, they have to cook their own food every day, 2 times a day. We have to cook our own food. If guests come, they have to just add a bit more food, or or provide a bit more varieties of food. Otherwise, they are not adding more operating cost. So running a homestay, it is less costly as compared to other hotels and other lodging or other accommodation facilities. And if you have heard, in the context of Nepal, social media is helping to make a homestay viral. Those homestay which are viral, many guests they visit there. And other than that, if uh, the intention of the guest also matters a lot in that case. In some way, I can suggest my friend to go to the homestay. In some way, I can suggest my family member to go again back to the homestay. In the future, I also wanted to go back to the same homestay because they provide me good accommodation facility. They satisfied me, means if the homestay satisfied the guest properly, if they provide basic facilities, or if they provide the important facility required by me, I will obviously go back over there. I'll go back there and enjoy homestay again, or I can send my friend, family member, or relative to the homestay. In that way, it is helping in marketing. Mouth to mouth communication is helping a lot in homestay. Besides that, social media is always helping. TikTok in homestay, sharing the yes, cultural event of homestay. It means welcoming and farewell event all being highlighted in the social media. So in that way, that is helping making homestay popular without investing more money on advertisement and promotion. And the basic thing about homestay economy is that the money they generate is a committee, the committee which collect money. It is 100% they do not distribute to the family member or the homestays. 70 to 80% around money is distributed to the individual homestay, and remaining 20% is collected as a fund, either for the development activities, either for running the cultural activities, either for running those group activities, either conducting the nature hike, or either for the training, field visits, or site visit. In that way, that development fund of 20% around, or 10 to 20% is being invested by community-based homestay in local area to help people learn new techniques. And these are the environmental benefits. It means if we have to consider the sustainability, I have already given you example that homestay is helping economic development. It means three pillar of sustainability, or three pillar of sustainable development: economic component, ecological or environmental component, or socio-economic, socio-cultural components shouldn't be compromised. Yes, we are seeing that there are a lot of economic benefit in the sense of accommodation related income, culture related income, local farm related income, museum related income. Even they run as a cooperative development fund, and even different NGO support such activities. So economy is being promoted in the local area or in the rural area. That's why many provinces, they are prioritizing homestays. And beside those economic part, there are a lot of environmental benefit as well. To promote or to attract more guests, they focus on nature conservation. They want to make greenery near their village. They want to promote, or they want to conserve animals so that people will come to observe those animals. And they do elephant safari. They are preparing sites to see different wildlife, such as crocodile. Also, if they can promote those animals, or if there are wild animal in their locality, they can promote those sort of this tourism. Because why they promote this tourism? Because they are conserving that, they are prioritizing conservation of animals, and by the conservation they are getting benefit in the form of wildlife based tourism. So wildlife conservation is promoted, or the homestay people or the homestay stakeholder will be more inclined to our conservation, because they are getting benefit from those. Other than that, forest conservation is there. Wild animal habitat protection we can see in many part. Wildlife conservation is there. In many homestay, they are prioritizing on solid waste management, and they keep dustbin in different part of their village, and they are not allowing other guests to throw the waste outside in the surrounding. They promote greenery to attract more guests. It means some homestay, they prioritize water resource conservation to provide fresh drinking water. They are conserving water resources, or they are also preparing water collection ponds, or such type of activities are seen in the nearby homestay, because they are more inclined to our conservation of animal and environmental protection. And sustainability issue is being addressed in the form of environmental aspect. And also conservation fund is there, generated from their own money. They could help use that money in fencing, or making a tree house to observe animal. So conservation is being promoted in the area with the funds generated from economic activities from tourism. And also beside this thing, there are a lot of socio-cultural benefit. We can it means local culture is promoted, people are promoting collaborative work. It means they are working together, they are cooperating with each other, they are making community building and doing community activities. They are promoting peace and security in different. It means if the community work is a single entity, then there is a chances that there is a peace and security, because they work as a yes, community, they work collaboratively. So peace is maintained in the society, security is maintained, because they understand who are the new stranger coming in the village area. Even poverty reduction, yeah, government is promoting homestay for the poverty reduction in the rural area. Local culture and tradition, that is always being promoted. And even the new generation, they are running that, because they are getting extra benefit from tourism, and due to the motivation of the extra benefit, they are focusing on local culture and tradition. Welcome and farewell events are being conducted. They do baza gaza. They provide special type of welcome food. In that way, they do welcome and farewell events. Beside that, traditional dance, song, traditional costume. People are developing leadership skill development training. These are a lot of socio-cultural benefit. Now, if we see the scenario now, it means homestay is helping in economic development. It is promoting or it is helping in environmental conservation, as well as socio society, and then the local culture and tradition are also being preserved and promoted. In that way, homestays, community-based homestays especially, they are running towards sustainability, because they are taking all three pillars of sustainable development: economic component, social component, and environment component. But beside this benefit, beside all these things, there are a lot of challenges. Yes, everywhere, in every benefit, there might be challenges as well. Yes, current number is very high, more than 1,000. Every village they are focusing on homestay. If there are a lot of homestay, every homestay will not be popular. Every homestay will not get guests. In that context, there might be high competition, and for the sake of competition, there might be price change. People may reduce the price, and they may compromise on the basic norms of homestay to attract guests, because every homestay will not be popular. And in the context of Nepal, all homestay are not popular. Specialized homestay who have their own product, who have their own feature, they are popular. Either in the case of Ghalegaon, Sirubari, Amaltari homestay, Dalla homestay, or these are some of the Sri Antu homestay of Ilam. They are some of the good examples, because they are always popular and they are getting regular guests and they are earning a lot of money as well. But some homestay who are not sustainable, and they are having lack of financial support, because in the beginning phase, other organizations support them, but every time organization doesn't support them, so there might be a lack of financial support. And if those guests, those homestay which are not popular and not getting regular guests, it is difficult to run their homestay. And if they don't get any financial support, they might not be motivated to run the homestay. So some homestay which are not popular, there is a lack of financial support as well. And there are always a fake homestays in Nepal. Some homestay, some houses, some hotels, some guest houses, they give the name as a homestay, but they doesn't follow the norms of homestay. So fake homestay is always degrading the value of homestay. It is decreasing the value among the international guests, because they try to run as a homestay, but they doesn't follow the basic norms. They just try to fulfill the demand of the guest. In that way, fake homestay can decrease the quality, as well as the communication, mouth-to-mouth communication that is being done by the guest to the other family members or the friend. And technical support, yeah, all homestay, they are not technically good. And even the different level of government, local level, provincial level, central level, still homestay are confused where they are connected with either local, provincial, or central level. Yeah, in many cases local government is helping them to run them, but they are still confused where they are linked with. So there is a confusion among homestay stakeholder, and always there is a competition between hotel and homestay. Yeah, hotel are separate part, homestay are separate part, but they take each other as a competitor if they are in the same area. So that competition is also hampering homestay. And even demand of guests, yeah, I have already discussed that many guests, they demand the facilities that is not being allowed according to the norms of homestay. So guests going there should understand the basic norms. They should understand what are the rules and regulations in homestay, what are the things they are allowed to do there. So these things should be promoted. And COVID-19 uncertainty, seasonality is always a challenge in Nepal. In the monsoon season, when the road is not good, when there is a lack of access to other facilities, it is difficult to get guests in all different seasons. And international, in some case, COVID or other related thing, sometimes visa related problem, international travel restriction could limit the international guests who would like to come to country and enjoy the homestays. And so in some cases, visa issue might be there. And yeah, there are still many challenges. Some homestay, they may not get guests, no guest in some homestay, or less guest during homestay during COVID time. Lockdown restriction were observed during COVID-19. But during the COVID-19 also, homestay suffered a lot. Being such a safe destination in the rural area, they also suffered a lot, because in homestay, kitchen is shared by the guest and the host, house is being shared by the guest and the host. Yeah, room might be separate, but they are being shared. Due to that, there might be problem of social distancing, other thing. That's why homestay also suffered some a bit from COVID-19. Either it might be due to lockdown or other mandatory restriction brought by the government. And other, there are dining related, hospitality related problem. So these are some of the problems that they are faced by the local people during COVID, or also beyond COVID. Also, there is a high competition, making the homestay being each other competitor, as well as the competitor with the hotel. And hotel always consider homestay in the negative way. Why? Because hotel have to pay tax, homestay usually doesn't pay tax, because government has subsidized the tax for community-based homestay or the homestay, but hotel, they pay the tax. And what hotel people say is that we pay tax, we are not getting any benefit, we are not prioritized by the government, we are not getting subsidy, but homestay, they are regularly getting subsidy, and even they don't provide any tax, and they don't contribute to the government. So such thinking is always there from the hotel related stakeholder, and that is hampering homestay and developing or causing more competition among their rivals. Yeah, there are some options, or there are some opportunities, there are some recommendations to make homestay the better one. If homestay get better publicity, more people might go there. Or if we once we go to the homestay, if we tell our friends, families, and relative to go there, in that way we can promote homestay. And even in our context, 2 days weekend started for 1 month in the beginning by the government, but it was stopped. I think giving 2 days weekend would promote homestay, because we living in Kathmandu Valley or Pokhara or any other city area, if we have 2 days holiday, we can easily go to the nearby destination. Even family members who are working family members or working families, they will have chance to go to the homestay if they have 2 days as a weekend, either Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. That would help not only the homestay stakeholder, but also other tourism sector. Mandatory vacation for the government employee or other bank related employee or other different sector also, they can send their employee for vacation. That would help homestay, or that would also promote tourism. And in some cases, monitoring might be important. Collaboration with the international travel agent will help to attract more international guests. In some cases, homestays should understand the demand of the guests. They shouldn't compromise the guest ability of guests to enjoy the homestay, because if they are running as a homestay, if they want to get more tourism benefit, I think they should specialize homestay by making a certain range. It means according to the demand, if they supply the product in that context, homestay will get more extra benefit from other activities beside their norms and regular activities. So fulfilling the demand of guests would also increase the satisfaction. It enhances the perceived benefit. Also, it will help in the behavioral intention, either to recommend other friends or family member, or to revisit as a own. In this way, this sort of research activity needs to be conducted. Regular support for homestay, perception related study, even the demand of the guests should be understood in the COVID-19 or in the new scenario. In this way, homestay could be promoted. And if this thing could be done, then in the future, homestay will get benefit. If homestay get benefit, rural people are getting benefit. It will help in rural development, and also if it is near buffer zone or protected area, it will also help in conservation as well. So in this way, homestays are running sustainably, focusing in all three aspects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for this great presentation. It was a very important talk in ecotourism and sustainability in Nepal. Now I would like to move to discussion session. If anybody have queries or any questions, you can raise your hand by clicking the raise button, or you can just drop the questions in the chat. I think there are some questions in the chat box.
Yes, there are some questions I could read here.
Yes, sir. Would you like me to read or sir?
No, I'll read it. It is
Okay.
Deepa is asking. Oh yeah, first of all, let the participant ask first.
Okay. Yes, Arun, you can ask.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, good afternoon, everyone. Actually, my question is the economic contribution of our country is maximum done by the protected areas of Nepal. But can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And but the tourism, the GDP from the tourism is not counted in the Ministry of Forest and Environment. And due to which the backflow of the tourism development budget is not in this Ministry of Forestry and Environment. And the tourism activities are maximum they are done by the protected areas. So what do you think the clash between the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Forest and Environment, due to which the border of the economic growth that could be a big revolution in the tourism sector. So I mean the budget of GDP from the tourism should also be given towards the Ministry of Environment and Forest. That would be a good decision for the tourism development. So what do you think in that context?
Yeah, Arun, this is a very nice question. If you talk with the policymaker, planner, what they say is that the contribution of tourism to the economy is very less, and even the contribution of tourism to the conservation is very less. And if you take example, and the government investment in conservation area, the government investment in protected area is so high that the very few percentage or 10-20%, 30% of the cost is also not covered from the entry fee or other revenues that is generated from protected area. Yeah, your query is that if tourism related revenue could be directed to the Forest and Environmental Ministry, that could help. That is a good suggestion, but policymakers are not considering the tourism related income supporting the local or the protection related activities. They are saying that 10-20% or 10-30% income is only being sufficed from the entry fee or tourism related benefit. In that context, they are already saying that there is 70% investment from the government tax or the tax of the general people to the protection or to the community to the conservation area. That is bringing conflict among policymakers because they are already saying that we are investing a lot of money for conservation. Now, how we can invest extra money for the Ministry of Forest and Environment? So that question, your question is very nice, but already government is investing a lot for conservation related activity, and tourism revenue is not sufficing that. It means there is a very less chance that your query might be listened by the government, because they say that we are investing a lot of money for conservation, but the output is very less from the tourism. Their thinking is like that. But if we consider all other indirect benefit to the community, if we see the rural development activities, I think that is helping a lot to the rural development, then generating a budget or generating a revenue for the government to run those activities. I tried my best to answer, but your question that might not be heard by policymaker, because they are already saying there is a less contribution to the conservation.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any question? Otherwise, I will read the question given over here. Yeah, is there any relationship between community-based homestay and the altitude variation of the tourism places in Nepal? Yes, to some extent, the variation in altitude or variation in diversity that might give high diversity of flora and fauna. Even with the increase in altitude, different indigenous people, they like to live in different altitude of the country, different hilly region or mountain region. So due to the people residing over there, or indigenous people residing in different altitude, we couldn't directly relate those altitudinal variation to the community-based homestay, but that is promoting community-based homestay because there are indigenous community in different elevation. If those individual communities are living there, they could promote their culture, they could promote their indigenous feature, their indigenous culture, tradition. In that way, many homestays or community-based homestay could be promoted in different elevation. So yes, directly there might not be the relationship, but we can tell that if there is a variation in elevation, different community, different indigenous people will live there, and if they are interested in tourism, we couldn't force communities to be involved in tourism. If the marginalized and indigenous people, they don't want to be participating in tourism, we couldn't force them. But if they like to participate in tourism, if they like to generate money as a alternative livelihood option, in that context only we could benefit those local communities or indigenous people according to the altitude. But no, we couldn't force the indigenous people to be involved in tourism, because some indigenous people, they feel shy, they don't want to face the stranger, they don't want to face the international culture or tradition. So all communities may not get benefits. So indirectly it might be, there might be linkage, but directly it is difficult to tell the linkage. Any question? Otherwise, I will read the follow-up question. Yeah, my email address is given at the bottom of this presentation. I think still I am showing that screen, so you can get the email address. How can we preserve the authenticity of homestay if we focus on developing facilities in local communities? Yeah, this is a very good question which is being asked throughout the country. In every conservation area, in every protected area, the local people ask this the negative question. It means they ask the question in reverse way. It means we couldn't make our village as a museum. It means we couldn't make our village as a museum and compromise the development activities. It means local people, they don't want to compromise the development activities, but they want to preserve the authenticity in their culture, tradition. Yeah, they also need road, they also need electricity facilities, they also need internet, they also need communication facilities. They don't want to compromise those things, and for the sake of conservation, for the sake of authenticity, they don't want to make their area inaccessible from road, inaccessible to travel. So many conservation related community, they always question, we can't be the museum for the whole country. Okay? We can't be the museum and we can't state the conservation only as a main priority. We also need development work. So they focus, they need development work. So preserving the authenticity is possible. Preserving the authenticity in their food, preserving the authenticity in their culture is possible with the development facilities. It means local people development facilities should not be compromised, but by providing those facilities also, they can preserve the authenticity in culture, tradition, food, hospitality. That is always seen in different part of the country. Either you go to Galegaon, either you go to Sirubari, they have the road network, they have the communication network, they have the electricity network, but still they are preserving their authenticity.
Next
Yeah.
question.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Question is from Kamalji. And he has
Yeah.
a long question.
Yeah, homestay has been taken for granted recently. That is right. I mean, without assessing the prerequisite or criteria for the success of homestay, many villages say most of the newly established homestay are promoted for the sake of cheap popularity. Yes, I also try to discuss that part. Uh, is the ultimate goal is to benefit economically as well as socially. That has also been recently financed by provincial government. Its actual sustainability has been questioned. That is a true concept. I will also link some part in the next discussion. No return at all from the investment. What do you think the adoption of this homestay concept is a panacea to rural promote rural Nepal? And I would not consider urban based accommodation offering as a homestay, but qualifies as a bed and breakfast as practice in the developed world. Don't you think these urban based so-called homestay are misusing the concept for policymakers simply understanding this concept? Yes, this is really a good issue in the context of our country. Yes, in the city area, either to consider homestay as a bread and breakfast is really a debatable question or debatable topic. Yeah, the concept of bed and breakfast is you provide accommodation facilities in your own house. You allow guests to stay. They stay. But in the case of homestay, the difference in Airbnb or BNB is that in Airbnb there might not be local people or the host interacting with much with the guest. It means host and guest, they may not interact much in Airbnb or other facilities, but in homestay what they do is they interact with the guests, they share their culture, they show their tradition and culture, and they provide other food, local food, authentic taste, all those things. There is a social interaction. So these things are the difference. Even in the city area, it means city homestay, those private homestay or the some of the community homestay are there in Nagarkot. Nagarkot also has community homestay. Even Patleket near Dhulikhel also they have their own homestay. You can see there in Kirtipur also there is a community based homestay. Even in Panauti also there is a community based homestay. It means their main priority is that they try to attract guests with the concept of a host guest interaction. It means they want to interact with the guest and they want to provide facilities. Also, they want to earn money, not only taken as a bread and breakfast, that is also only the case of providing accommodation and other facilities. And other important good question is that, giving example of Gandaki province, they in the very first year of their homestay guideline formation, they provided every homestay 10 lakh rupees, Nepali rupees, at least they provide to every homestay. And in some homestay that is misused, just for getting 10 lakh rupees, many new homestay were formed. And some homestay are not existing. Some homestay, they just build a community building and they don't focus in attracting more guests after that. So sustainability is really a challenging criteria in some area of Gandaki province because they simply give 10 lakh rupees to every homestay. So many homestay, they are running properly, but some homestay, they misuse that fund. And providing regular support to the homestay might be questionable. And I have already given you example of hotel always conflicting with the homestay. And hotel people, they pay tax, they contribute economy for the country, and but homestay they don't pay tax. Even they are getting subsidy, they are getting economic benefit, they are getting government fund, government budget. So this is always a debatable topic. Now that might be the reason Gandaki province also now it is decreasing the funding they provide to the homestay. Now they only provide certain specialized project, they only fund for the certain specialized project in the homestay. So this is always a challenge for them, because the misuse is being done, fake homestay are being built just for the sake of 10 lakh rupees. I think these are some of the queries. But I think we shouldn't compromise on rural development. It means if homestay are promoted and if guests go there, at least there will be another alternative source of income for the local people. So rural development might be enhanced if they could run sustainably and attract more guests. I think we are running out of time.
It seems there are no further questions. So thank you, sir. And now we have to we have come to the end of this talk program. And at last, I would like to request Dr. Dinesh Neupane sir, who is Executive Director of Resources Himalaya Foundations, to give a vote of thanks to our speaker and conclude this session. Over to you, sir. Dinesh sir.
So much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Anup Casey, for providing your valuable time in talking about the ecotourism and the sustainability and how the potentiality of the tourism is in Nepal. It was nice and interesting to hear the history of ecotourism and how the government, the country can benefit from this industry. Thank you for giving this opportunity or the time, your time, valuable time to this platform organized by Resources Himalaya Foundation and Environmental Graduates in Himalaya. The Prahlad Indian Conservation Forum, PYCF, is usually organized monthly, particularly every first Friday of the month, by inviting researchers and planners to talk about the contemporary topics. Yes, Nepal has a great potentiality of ecotourism. And the Nepal's, in one report, Nepal has been ranked, I think, 37th out of 185 countries in terms of travel and tourism destination or the travel and tourism supporting to GDP of the country. And the tourism industry has provided around 5 lakhs job to the people here in Nepal. So it has a great contribution to the country's economy, but somehow it has not been explored or not researched for its potentiality. So it is necessary to find out the tourism potentiality of the country and how we can going to cope up the increasing number of the tourists and how we can get benefit from that tourism industry in a proper way. That is the important task that we have to focus on. And then even we have to identify the commodities that we can sell to the tourists in the coming future. Because we cannot sell always that mountains and then the wildlife, but we have to identify the other commodities, the items that we can showcase to the local, to the tourist, and how we can show that kind of the commodities or that items in an authentic way. So that is the main challenges, and the same thing that Dr. Anup Casey has highlighted in the presentation today. So it is actually a fruitful information, fruitful presentation. For such amazing presentation, I would like to thank Dr. Anup Casey for sharing your valuable thought and the findings. We Research Himalaya Foundation usually provide a token of love to the presenter, but due to the online program going on, it is not physically done, but we would like to extend our sincere thanks to Dr. Anup Casey through this platform. And I would also like to thank to the participants who has participated in this interactive session, and it was interesting to have you all in this platform. Thank you all for your nice presence, and have a nice day, and stay safe, stay strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh sir, and thank you everyone. Thank you, Researches Himalaya.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to end this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.